So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. There's so many fantastic things coming up. There's the World Cup, there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, and everything is going really, really fast. Time is just flashing by. Now, I want to send a message to the Rusex. And when I say the Rusex, I'm not talking about Frank Sr. Frank Sr. is a good man. That's my opinion. Is he perfect? No. But I think by and large, Frank Sr. is a good man who just wanted to defend his daughter. And I think out of all the people in that family, I think Shanann was closest to her father. I think she was a daddy's girl. And I think that Frank Sr. loved his daughter tremendously. I think they had a very special bond and a very close relationship. So Frank Sr. is exempt from anything that I'm going to say here, because I don't think he's been the one asking people for money, setting up GoFundMes, taking money from people. I don't think he's been the one doing it. I don't think he's been the one spearheading it. Is he perfect? Is he completely innocent in all of this? Probably not. But I think by and large, generally speaking, Frank Sr. is a good, honorable man, and I respect him. And I also, my heart goes out to him. Frank Jr., on the other hand, well, he's been taking money from everywhere. And this has been going on for a long time. And I think it's stopped now. No one is paying into the Crowd Justice Fund. You know, there's a saying, there's a song by Bob Marley. And he says, some will eat and drink with you, then behind them suss upon you. And it means people will eat and drink and smile with you, and then they'll go behind your back and talk about you. And they won't be saying very nice things about you behind your back. Some will eat and drink with you, and then behind them suss upon you. That's my Jamaican twang there. So there's a lot of people who claim to support the Rusex, but they're not paying their money into that fund anymore because people have lost faith in it. People don't believe in it. We all know that Claire Morgan isn't a lawyer, and I don't think this case will ever come to fruition. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, and all of the holidays that we're going to have, and the eating and drinking and the food expenses and the light bills and all that kind of stuff that we're going to have to face, and the gas and fuel prices and all that kind of stuff, people could do with the extra cash in their pockets. I plead with you as a Christian family, please refund people who have donated to the Crowd Justice Fund. That's what I'm urging you to do. Refund the people who have paid into that Crowd Justice Fund, because a lot of those people who kindly donated could do with the extra cash this holiday. We know that Claire Morgan isn't a lawyer, and based upon that fact, people gave their money under the illusion that there was going to be a court case and that Claire Morgan was a lawyer. Well, that turns out that it's not the case. So please refund people their money. And I think a lot of you will gather respect. Junior, Sandra, a lot of respect. People will have a lot of respect for you if you did that and you just admitted, look, Claire Morgan wasn't a lawyer. This case isn't going ahead anytime soon or ever at all. Thank you. And we can get on with our holidays. I think people should be refunded. That's my personal opinion. Now, there's a lot of fantastic Thanksgiving videos floating around on YouTube, and I've been watching them, and I thought, let me do a Thanksgiving special. I remember when I was 15 years old, my mum said to me, and I'm not going to say what my real name is. Some of you will know it, but she said to me, I'm just going to say what my nickname is, which is my real nickname in real life. It's Sim. Sim, you need to learn how to cook. You're a woman, you need to learn how to cook. Because when I was 15, I had no interest in cooking whatsoever. And I would have been quite happy to have McDonald's or Chinese food every day. And it's interesting because Paula, Star Mama from Miss Mensa's channel, said about me, and I will talk about this in another podcast maybe one day. Why doesn't she cook food that people can afford instead of rack of lamb and steaks? So Paula was saying that I only cook expensive food and I should cook food that is more affordable instead of rack of lamb and steaks. Now, while I do cook rack of lamb from time to time and steaks from time to time, It is not my main diet. And actually, my body and my main diet, what I really thrive on is salads and soups. That's what, I would say about 35% of what I consume is salads and soups and yogurt. Yogurt is very important. Another thing she said about me is that, my photographs were not me. I've got nothing to prove. And I certainly have nothing to prove to Paula. I think it's very sad that as a 70-year-old woman, she seems to hold some kind of, it's almost like she has something against younger women who she deems attractive or confident, overly confident. You've seen pictures of me as a child, and my face really hasn't changed that much. And I've been talking since I was 9 months old. So I've always been slightly more mature for my age, because Honey Badger was saying, I sound older. Well, I've been speaking since I was 9 months old. I started puberty at 11. So, I've always kind of been older than my years in many, many ways. And also, if you look at somebody like Halle Berry, and I'll show you a shot in the next section. She's 56 years old. She's old enough to be my mother. She doesn't have any wrinkles, and she never will. She never will. There's a saying that black don't crack. I don't think I'll ever have wrinkles. So, unfortunately, Paula, these photographs, all of the photography that I show you of myself and the food that I make, it's all mine. And I've got the original photographs. And like I said, I'm going to tell you one day how to take good photographs. And a lot of it is to do with the lighting. But anyway, people were asking on a Thanksgiving video, that they want to have a more budget-friendly Christmas. They don't want to spend a lot of money. And in fact, I was going to make a cornbread stuffing with apple, sausage, and sage. And I just can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. I had turkey legs this weekend with some cranberry sauce. They were absolutely delicious. And I had some mashed potatoes and some broccoli to go with it. I'm going to have a simple Christmas or Thanksgiving meal. Once I was friends with a gay couple. The guy was from America, Rochester, New York, and the other partner, the other guy, he was from Nigeria. They were a wonderful couple. And I had never experienced Thanksgiving in this country before. I'd experienced it in America, but not this country. So he invited me around for Thanksgiving. It was so wonderful. He made a giant turkey. He made cranberry sauce. He made pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie, pecan pie, or pecan pie. It was a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'm always going to remember it and be very grateful for it, even though I'm not friends with that couple anymore. So here's some ideas for a budget-friendly Thanksgiving or even Christmas. These are photographs that I've taken of different dishes that I've made that are budget-friendly. Now, it might look fancy and expensive. I always try to make my food look fancy and expensive and luxurious and delicious. That's how I take the photographs. That's how I want the photographs to look. But all of these 6 photographs, these 6 dishes are budget-friendly things and just ideas for you to have for Thanksgiving or Christmas, for both dinners. So on the top left, that is a turkey leg. Now, personally speaking, I'm a dark meat lover. I prefer dark meat to white meat. I think dark meat is more rich. I think it's more flavorful. I think it's a lot tastier. So I don't buy turkey breasts. I think they're flavorless. I think they're tasteless. I buy turkey legs, and that's me. That's a turkey leg with cranberry sauce, and you can serve that with mashed potatoes or roast potatoes or some vegetables. Absolutely delicious and very inexpensive. Turkey legs are more affordable and more economical than turkey breast, and they taste so much better. In the middle, top center, we have mashed potatoes. Now, I personally love mashed potatoes. Love it. It's a comfort food. And potatoes are very inexpensive. I like my mashed potatoes really creamy. So I put a ton of butter and cream in my mashed potatoes, and I season it well with salt and pepper. And that's all you need. I'm not into cutting down on the calories for Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. And I like my mashed potatoes to be rich and creamy. On the right, top right, you have roast chicken and roast potatoes. That is a perfectly acceptable, delicious Christmas dinner that you can have with a fancy gravy. Chicken is inexpensive for the most part. Even now, chicken is still relatively affordable, even a whole chicken. So a whole chicken with some roast potatoes or even mashed potatoes, some nice vegetables, budget friendly. On the bottom left, once, I think it was last year, I cooked a delicious roast pork leg. Now, a lot of Americans like the shoulder. I don't like that part. It doesn't have a lot of fat on the top, and I don't actually find it all that flavorful. But my favorite cut of pork is the belly. And in fact, it used to be very inexpensive in England because it wasn't a highly rated cut of pork. However, in Chinese, Korean, and Japanese cuisine, and Filipino cuisine, the belly of pork is the most sought after part because they realize in East Asia that the belly of pork is the most succulent, flavorful part of the pork. So that's my favorite cut. But a leg is also, and it's actually quite expensive in East Asia, the belly of pork. While over here, it's a cheaper cut. But I actually discovered that the leg is very good if you put a lot of butter on it, and it has a lot of good fat on the top. The skin of the leg of pork is really good. So the bottom left is a roast pork that I cooked last year with a plum sauce, and it had a nice crispy skin and crackling. It was delicious and very, very budget friendly. Bottom center, in the middle, that is a roast shoulder of lamb. Now, shoulder of lamb is often considered as a cheaper cut of lamb. I wouldn't say that there's anything such as cheap when it comes to lamb. Lamb is quite expensive. It's quite pricey. But if you want a more affordable cut, go with shoulder. I find it a lot more flavorful than a leg of lamb. I would rather have a shoulder of lamb as a roast dinner than a leg of lamb any day. If I'm making a soup or a stew, I would rather have the leg cut up because the leg has got more meat on it. But in terms of an actual roast, I much prefer shoulder to the leg because the meat is just moister, fattier, and more juicy. So that is a roast shoulder of lamb with rosemary, with a nice rosemary gravy. It was delicious, absolutely delicious, and very budget friendly. Now, I'm Jamaican, as you know. In Jamaica, it is very, very popular to have curry goat for Christmas or during the holidays. Curry goat is our celebration dish. You can use lamb, you can use goat, you can use mutton. All those cuts of meat can be used to make curry goat. It doesn't have to be goat. It doesn't have to be mutton. You can use lamb. Lamb will take a lot quicker to cook than goat or mutton. Mutton and goat are tougher cuts of meat. Curry goat is a comfort food for me. It's one of my favorite dishes of all time. It is probably in my top 10 favorite things to eat of all time. And it's relatively affordable compared to things that I've had, such as goose or rack of lamb or a whole turkey. Very, very affordable. I love curry goat. I'm Jamaican, so curry goat is something that almost all Jamaicans eat. Now, if you're going to have that, please buy meat with the bone on because you're going to have a lot more succulent flavor meat if you buy the lamb or the mutton or the goat with the bone inside, bone on meat, it's going to be that much richer and that much flavorful. If you're going to buy boneless, don't even bother. It needs to have the bone. The flavor from the bones and the marrow is what really gives curry goat its signature taste and flavor. So there are my budget ideas for a Thanksgiving, and I'm probably going to do a part 2 of this as well. So I hope you enjoyed it, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.